new episode, the latest episode of Mastery of Connections. So we're out here in community, marketplace, and business space where we are talking about the power of connections, which also brings us to relationships. So I can say I've had a good relationship with Alan Holmes. We are well connected and we share a ton of connections in our collaboration. And Alan has been having fun with us, pioneering this whole new show, Mastery of Connections. So we hope you enjoy it. And you're going to love this guest that Alan has for us today. Alan, welcome to the show. Alan, you met me at Happy Neighborhood Project, Happy Business Connecting, the happiest place in the world for business people. So we're going to try to bring the happiness to the show today. What do you think, Alan?
Absolutely. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Kurt, Mr. Disability General? All right, all right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for each and every one of you. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for the Massive Connection Show. And of course, on the Disability Channel. Thank you, Joe Storian, Emily Gomer, and of course, the EC Marketing for All, Mr. Christian Mendez in the back. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Today, as always, let's get started. We have an amazing guest. He's someone that I've actually personally known for 20 years, Mahatma Salis. That is his name, but however, I know him as Art Edwards. He served as an executive trustee for Gridmaster, which is a generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity. He has 30 years of a comprehensive experience with business principles, and he is understanding of communications and very seasoned. Now, Mr. Salis, or Art Edwards, is a seasoned professional in the energy industry and a graduate of prestigious apprentice and technical educational institution system. He's a specialist in experience and educational background, providing solid foundation in his role of solar energy in the field. Mr. Edwards, there's nothing else I can say. I am so humbled. Thank you so much for being here at the Disability Channel and the Mastery of Connections. We always give great connections. So let me just start by saying thank you and welcome. Welcome to the show.
Well, first and foremost, let's all give thanks for life. The gift of life is so precious. And so, we really, really want to really appreciate love, as we say sometimes. We want to appreciate love, that fresh breath of air, that inhale and that exhale. We take it so much for granted. And we really, really want to give more than a moment of silence for just the whole concept of being able to live in freedom, to, feel accomplished, to be a higher level of existence as compared to all the beautiful things that we see around us. And we want to keep in mind too that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because what may be beautiful to us may be gorgeous to someone else. So there are different levels of beauty, and so we see the beauty in all things, and life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, and wherever you are, whoever you may be, I hope that you can stop just for that moment. So thanks for that opportunity, and thanks for the invitation, and we're happy to be here. Special gratitude. Thank you, Alan.
Well, no problem. The Disability Channel and the World of Abilities, and as well as Kurt and Emily and Jay Storian, who had disability, and he may pop in, but he is the reason why we're here. And of course, Christian Mendez, my team. But we all want to say thank you. Now, we've known each other for about 20 plus years. If you want to go down without going too much down the road, share a little bit about. I know we met in Los Angeles at a mastery mindset training, And I know back then you were really running and running, but since then, tell us a little bit about your journey as an entrepreneur. How did you get started, and what is your really your why? Why you're doing everything you're doing?
Well, as you were saying in the beginning, Alan, and thanks for the Disability Channel and all its participants. What you were saying earlier on in the introduction, as far as my current activity as a co-founder and executive trustee, and specializing in the technical areas of the Gridmaster Solar company. I serve in that position, as you mentioned, a leading player in the clean energy sector. I have almost 40 years of comprehensive experience, as you said, in the generation, transmission, distribution, and the communications aspect of electricity, as well as a deep understanding of business principles. So I'm really well qualified as a seasoned professional in the energy industry, and partly because of being uh, educated and graduated as a accomplished apprentice from prestigious technical and apprentice institutional systems. Now, at this stage, all this has led to a solid foundation whereby in we can take advantage of what is on everyone's lips right now, global warming. And so at the time when we met some odd, maybe 23, 22 years ago, we met in what I would say a scenario where destiny had to bring us to this point where we could go from considering green real estate, whereby it would be strong windproof, seismically superior, earthquake proof, fireproof, not fire resistant, and waterproof, not water resistant, among other things. And we came to a point where, in the passing of those years, 2 decades, where we have no choice but to combine the two: green housing along with green energy. And so we have more or less put a lot of energy into furthering the solar energy option of what you might call alternative energy. In the beginning, I mentioned that many of us take life for granted, so much so that I believe that many of us probably woke up dead this morning, and we're walking around dead, literally. And so, taking things for granted includes the medium that allows us, you and I, and many others who would see this in the near future, or who are even looking right now as we speak. They take electric, and I say sometimes even we take electric energy for granted. All right. When we plug things in, when we turn light switches on and off, when we turn on the AC, even sometimes in our cars, although it might just be a car battery, it's still electricity, direct current, DC, as compared to alternating current, AC. And so there is a growing need, more so, for modern technology to use this electric energy. And there's almost an unlimited list of uses for electricity, and we can think of in social instances, in health and wellness instances, educational instances, financial instances, even in instances that would involve your security. one of the priorities of the United States, if not any sovereign nation, anyone would sense, if you ask me, would be to have security surrounding energy security. And that is a priority as far as security, literally. And so when we don't have enough energy, we literally don't have enough security. Right? Everyone wants to feel safe and secure. They want to think that they're safe and secure, and they want to come to know that, hey, I'm confident, I'm safe and secure in whatever that state of mind or literal case may be. As you would know, as a deterrent, some people turn on the lights to keep away or to give an appearance of activity, shine the light, as they say. Or, we could go on and on. I won't get into, we won't want to major on minor things. But what we know is that you could plug it up. You could plug stuff up. You could store the energy. In general, it's everywhere. And that's why we take it for granted. And so, at the age of 15, when I really was becoming a delinquent, I think I started becoming a delinquent at age 14. And it lasted for about 3 years till I was age 17. And the state of delinquency is really a state where, as a child, a teenager, I was not allowing myself to be challenged enough with new information. And the information that I had before already experienced, I was taking it for granted. And I guess it's normal with a growing mind. So by age 15, a question was asked, well, what do you want to be? What do you want to, do? By that time, I couldn't be bothered. It was neither here or there with me. I was like, I don't know. At one time, I used to want to be a policeman, law and order and so on. And but I had no clue. And so I was offered the opportunity to qualify to become an electrical apprentice for 5 years with the National Electric Company at the time. And I was told, well, you have to go to school and so on. By this time, I was rebelling against school. I had come first so many times doing the school work and, high grades. I got, bored with high grades, I guess. And so I was like, school again? I don't think so. But then I was told that, well, as an apprentice, you get paid. I was like, what? They pay you to learn? I was already good at schoolwork. I just was deliberately not doing it at the time, I don't know. Some people call it a phase. Who knows? I don't know. I said, well, if they're going to pay me to learn, well, sign me up. And so that's when my direct activity into electricity began. And so almost 40 plus years afterwards, here I am full circle with a full, what I would like to call a livication rather than a dedication, because dedication seems to sound so lifeless, dead, literally. So we had a livication. We have committed our life efforts towards consolidating electric energy via Gridmaster Solar One Incorporated, and where we offer people like yourself, people the world over, the opportunity to harness the power of solar energy as much as 1 megawatt, which is 1 million watts of power in a square foot. That should be a square acre. My mistake, a square acre of land. Now, I used to be an apprentice working offshore on oil rigs as well. And Monday to Friday, we would fly in a helicopter back and forth. And things would look pretty small from the air. And a square acre of land technically is kind of small. It's all relative. But to get 1 megawatt of electricity from 1 acre of land where normally regular community solar farms would use 8, 7, 9, 10 times that much, 9 acres. They would need that much, 8 acres to produce the same amount of electricity. But we have a risk factor in that. There was one scenario where in one state, Wisconsin, I think it was, they pledged 7,300 acres of farmland to generate only, I believe it was 1.3 gigawatts. No. Is it gigawatts or megawatts? 1.3 gigawatts, I think it was, of electricity. Or is it megawatts? Can't be megawatts, gigawatts. And
Maybe because,
yeah, gigawatts. In other words, that would be 1,000 watts. No, 1,000 megawatts plus 3, right? Because 1,000 megawatts is equal to 1 gigawatt. So 1.3 gigawatts, and they needed 7,300 acres, of which they actually were granted 10,000. They're going to use the other 2,700 for who knows what, maybe substations. We can provide, we could have provided, I think it was the same amount of electricity on only, I think it was 900 acres of land, maybe 8. So do the math. That's about 7 to 8 times less. All right, and at a slightly higher rate, but considering the maintenance of moving parts of a community solar farm over 25 years, that's pretty expensive. That adds up. Our solar tower panel is no maintenance, hardly any at all. The system is patent pending in about 4 or 5 areas and continents: Asia, Africa, Europe, United States, of course. And so the land, those 7,300 acres would suffer basically barrenness because there will be no sunshine, no rain on the land. And if and when you remove that area, it will be totally barren. Not to mention the life, the natural life, habitat, and so on and so on. But this demand will not cease for electricity. It's going to keep on coming like the conquistadors. They're going to keep on moving inland like Christopher Columbus everywhere he went. He just kept on ravaging the land. And so this need for energy is gobble, gobble, gobble. And we have to be a bit more, have a stronger resolve, because it seems scientific that we don't want it to seem that destruction of the meek is nature's plan, and that the humble and the weak should understand. So it's the price of progress, but we don't necessarily have to pay it. We don't necessarily have to pay it. So if in one instance we can reduce the amount of land that we use 7 to 8 to 9 times to 1, whereby substituting with the greenest of electrical energies, of all the alternatives, the greenest by all scientific indications is solar, and the sun isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We can, as we just demonstrated, generate 1 gigabyte and more of electricity easily in less than 1,000 acres. The United States, along with other countries in the world, has pledged a considerable amount of their budget, in some cases generated funds via emergency acts. The act that approved by the Biden administration, $369 billion, I think it was, Climate Change Act, or is it the what is it called? Inflation Reduction Act, to be more specific. The Inflation Reduction Act, ironically, created $369 billion, which in and of itself would create another element of debt or inflation, but that's another scientific topic, maybe for another call. But the funds have been made available, and we have to, in exchange, make use of the debt. It's a debt. The money was created, debt itself, to pay debts. And so we have $369 billion for the United States and environs, that whether the federal government is specifically providing funds for nonprofit corporations, specifically tax credits up to 60% to have community solar farms. You probably need as little as 3 acres. We can have 3 megawatts in only 3 to 4, no more than 5 acres of land, as compared to if you had to get 3 megawatts elsewhere, it might need almost 20 acres of land with a regular community solar farm. So the idea is to follow the money in this case. And where is the money? The federal government has provided billions in funding for all the states to use towards alternative energy causes, solar, and development. Some states have gotten as much as $156 million. In one case, Florida received $156 million in federal funding, of which all of it has gone to the Habitat for Humanity, of which they will now take and develop homes with solar paneling to offset the greenhouse gases. So this is a tremendous move. It's available for all states. The government, the United States, needs the help of people like us. We have exclusive access to the product. Of course, it's at, you see here, gridmastersolar1.com. That's GRIDMASTER solar1.com, or email us at sbn@gridmastersolar1.com. My name is Art, and let's find out how best you can help, how best you can make a difference in your community. It means then that as a nonprofit, you can create a source of revenue for the next 25 years, because we will present you with the solar towers that you need, probably as much as 12 of our solar towers will give you 3 megawatts. Okay, up to 3 megawatts, maybe less depending on the height. It's 120 feet tall, 120 feet tall, that's 12 stories. It's 3 sides, 43 feet long for each side, and each tower generates 250,000 watts, which is 250 kilowatts. Okay, 250 watts, and if you have 12 of those, they will give you 3 megawatts. We have the option whereby you can get a 3 megawatt storage battery to complement the tower. So when the tower generates electricity during the day, you can store it in the batteries, and any excess will also store in there, and you can use it naturally throughout the nighttime. This is a perfect opportunity for 24-hour electricity, lighting, nighttime activity, nighttime school, nighttime care, nighttime work, nighttime library, nighttime everything. You don't have to walk through your office or environment worrying about turning off the switch. Okay, as far as the 25 years of residual for your nonprofit, after you have this solar farm, the power companies will pay you for the electricity that you generate, take it into their systems, and redistribute it to the homes in the inner cities, in underprivileged areas, as far as the program goes, whereby those residents, regardless of whether they're owners, renters, or what have you, everyone pays their electric bill. Somebody's gonna pay it. Whether you're renting or owning,
Exactly.
somebody's gonna be paying the lights, period. It don't matter who paying the lights, somebody's gonna be saving on the lights. So they might as well be saving through your non-profit organization. And it doesn't matter who goes in and out of that apartment. The lights are going to be turned on. It doesn't matter who owns it. As long as it's habitated, chances are somebody going to flick the switch and the lights got to be paid. Even if the person was disconnected, chances are they're going to reconnect it eventually. If they don't reconnect it and they're evicted, worst case scenario, someone else will. Eventually, the lights, the show must go on. It's like showtime. Okay? And so your nonprofit can make a really meaningful effort in that sense, passively, right? Because the power company will get your electricity, pay you for it, and in turn recycle it to the consumers in the vicinity. All right, that's the model from that side of how can everyone benefit, including yourself as a promoter of this. Let's say you're wondering, well, this seems to be an element of sales. SALES. Who wants to be the greatest salesperson in the world? They say that sales is indeed the highest paying profession in the world. Sales. What are you selling? If you asked went on the Family Feud, the host might say, what is the number one selling thing in the world? The survey says, what is it? That's a pretty interesting question. So that might really give us an insight of what is on someone's mind. What are people buying? Because someone is selling. My point is, in most cases, there's some sort of profit and loss involved in sales. What profit is there in selling if one decides that, hey, you know what? I want to sell one of these solar towers. Well, this is where we can help. Again, just as we helped previously, we will offer, for those who qualify, a franchise opportunity with no restrictions, okay, worldwide, and you can present it to anyone in the world, and we will give you support as a franchisee, and you will get upwards of almost 6 figures per tower that is sold. So if you qualified and you brought a community solar farm that qualified for the federal funding, and they were getting 12 towers from us and getting it paid through the tax credits of the federal government, as a franchisee, a person could earn just short of 7 figures in that transaction as a franchisee. I repeat, just short of 7 figures in one deal.
Now, obviously, it's based on individual efforts, and just to put the disclaimer out there.
Yeah, of course. The key word is a 4-letter word. EARN. Earn. And if you put an L before that, if you put an L before the earn, just might learn something in the process. So,
well, yeah, absolutely. And I see we have Christian Mendez here. That's our marketing for all. As we wind down I just want to say thank you so much, Art, for everything. Art, Christian, I don't know if you wanted to chime in and have any questions, or if for Art, because we are going to be, just to let you know, Art, we are going to be sharing this on the um, Disability Channel, and of course, Christian has Conversation for All, which we definitely encourage you to, when you chance, to come in on Fridays. But Christian, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hey, good morning,
Yes, sir.
Christian.
Yeah, we can.
All right. Blessings. Yes, we're already out and about on the road working again. We've go blessed with another day. So let's make our purpose shine. Let's make sure that we get results and that we create and add value everywhere we go.
Indeed.
Join us for Conversation for All Fridays, 1 p.m. Conversations that need to be have that we want to communities. This also going to be covering some of the scams. You talk about solar. I'd love to get your take on some of the solar scams and what people can look out for. So, Art and Alan, if you guys can get together and give me a little bit of info on exactly what we're looking at, what type of scams people can look out for, how do they look at credibility with a company, with an investment company, with a solar company. So this is a great idea, and I think that there's a lot of opportunities that are starting to really come out of the woodworks. But in the same sense, we have to protect those that are vulnerable, and I mean, just protect our communities. Just because they're in need, there's a lot of people that are taking advantage. There's a lot of scammers that are taking advantage of this need, and because people are, as Art mentioned, is they're wanting to get six figures. They're wanting to see that shiny coin in their pocket. And sometimes we forget. We tend to go at the speed of life, and we forget that we're in control and we must slow down and make educated decisions. I love the presentation. I got to be honest with you, Art. One of the things that I'm going to be transparent is you gave me a lot of numbers. I'm a big numbers guy, but I'm also a visual. So to help out, if you can, what would help out, because you were giving some magnificent numbers on impact and what it actually means. But I think, sir, that what might be helpful is if you have more of a visual. What's one, kg power? What is one mg power? And so expressing that in the importance of what one tower does, what one cell can store, what that would mean, what that impact. So absolutely, we're always here for value. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for having me, Alan, as always. Part of the Project diehard.org, also today's Disability Channel, and the World of Ability Podcast Network. Join us at ecmarketingforall.com, or you can email if you want to contribute or participate or volunteer. We're also getting those donate buttons and donate links. If anything you guys do, just share, like, and follow. It helps us. It helps our cause. And remember, what we're here to do is raise awareness also for mental health. And my big heart, strong mission that we've kind of set out is mental health for everybody, but truly we want to raise awareness for the 22 veterans that are taking their lives every day. 22 veterans that are just suicide awareness for veteran. I know the numbers, and after we spoke with a couple of the folks that are on the front lines, those numbers are getting higher. They're not going down. So we want to do our best, and we want to do what we can, and that's part of why. Uh, Thanks again for letting me chime on in here. But that's why I do what we do, and in regards to that, that goes for anybody that any person that may be going through a difficult time, to know that if we slow down and we look at what is true, things are good. Things may be going bad, but the storms don't last forever. And we know that the energy is there. We just gotta feel. We just gotta understand it, as Art said. then we got to cultivate it, and it's pouring down literally every day. So we must do more with what we have, because these are resources that we can utilize and strengthen our communities, as well as strengthen our pocketbooks.
Indeed,
Absolutely. I
indeed,
appreciate
indeed.
you, Christian. Yeah, Christian, you know, Art Edwards, I don't know, Art, if you want to, before we have Emily, our podcast engineer, coming in, but you want to, before we close out and share where the show is going to be, and you have on Thursday nights, I believe, or when do you have your, for those who want to come in and maybe showcase and
We
watch the
actually do.
visual presentation?
That's right. We actually do have a presentation formally where you can meet a subject matter expert online on a session just like this tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern sharp. And it goes into some detail as to how the technology of the solar tower power works, as well as how we can help you get the federal funding, which is in the billions, to pay for it via your nonprofit with the tax credits. Solar energy, in fact, electric energy, period, to say it in another form, is big money business, period. Most of us, if and when we ever do see anybody supposedly working in solar, it's either the installer on the roof or someone knocking on your door and so on. You don't see anyone else in between there. Maybe the supervisor people, but that's it. Why is that the case? Because the next level to that is the bigger management of it. No one goes around selling electricity. The closest you can get to that is somebody selling a AA battery at Christmas time for toys. Not even, you see, that's not a common thing. So this widget, this sale item is not common. Now, as far as, at least in the way we're presenting it, the solar we're presenting is in industrial and commercial, not the type, like I said, knocking on doors to put solar panels on roofs, even though even that product, they they over commercialize it because they were able to tie it to the common real estate, which is the homes, which that system of mortgages and stuff surrounding real estate and homes in the United States, that's another paradigm. That's a whole economy. So as far as the word scam, when I hear the word scam, the next thing I think of is dishonest. All right. So, and then my brain thinks of non-existent or illegal, and then it thinks of legal and existent. So you might have legal, legitimate businesses doing dishonest things. That's not a scam. That's dishonesty. Okay. And then you might have entities that do exist, doing business, cheating people. I guess that's commonly called a scam, but that's theft along with dishonesty. Those type of people in any category we're going to have with us all the time. It's like there's a scripture that says the poor we will have with us always. And so after a while, we have to use our experience and skills that we may have learned along the way to navigate in this world. Because, it could be somebody asking you for a quarter or $1 to go to catch the bus. They might be honest or they might be scamming. You might get scammed out of your dollar from somebody being dishonest. And then you have somebody who genuinely need $1 to take the bus. So we have to use the same principles that we would use in our everyday life as we advance in any and everything that we do. And that's good advice. We want to see the glass half full instead of half empty, even though it's still just half. So that's 3 choices. Some people don't even see the glass because they don't drink water. They don't even take a bath. They don't need the water. So the glass and the water doesn't apply to them. But for those of us that do, we want to see that glass as half full.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, and I see Emily is joining us. Thank you so much as we close out. Emily, thank you so much for being part of our panel today. Well, as always, you're a wonderful podcast engineer. Thank you, Art, for stopping by and just educating us um, and I appreciate you addressing the word and defining and breaking down scam because as anybody knows that I've known you for 20 plus years and I know that you're always um, want to put the best foot forward. And as Christian says, we have to really address the elephant in the room of the scams. They're the ones that are make the great offers or the potential great offers, um, you know, really visible. And so they'll can kind of through the sea of confusion. But Emily, are you there, young lady? Can you share with us a little bit where else we can see Art in the audience? And we know the Disability Channel and Jay Stoyan for putting in it. We thank him and the World of Abilities for allowing us to be part of it because the disability community is the underserved is the veterans like myself and those out there fighting for a great country. All this matters right here on the Disability Channel. Thank you. Go ahead, Amber.
So we are going out on Facebook, LinkedIn. We'll be on YouTube. Also can put this on the Easy Expo as well. And so the main things. But we have like a lot of other shows as part of the Relatability Podcast Network. If anybody's interested, and we'd love to have everybody on the shows. If anybody's interested to please let us know whether it's this show or a different one. And Garrett, are you there to say anything, to add anything? If he's
Yeah, Kurt may be busy, but I do know that for those who, I'm sorry, go ahead, Emily.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna finish by saying thank you that to all who's listening in the audience, for Jay Stoyan and the Disability Channel out there in Canada. I know that we do have a Wisconsin division, so where the Disability Channel is looking for those with disability, and they could possibly definitely be a contributing factor to growing the solar because they needing additional jobs, and Jay Stoyan and Disability Channel can provide that. But yeah, this is what Mastery of Connections is about. It's about providing legitimate, ethical resources that it can benefit the whole. So thank you again for stopping by, and we love the education you gave us for the Mastery of Connections. Until next week, when we have another great show in the next.
Before you leave, Alan, the information for tomorrow, how do we get that to you? And again, for those who want to keep in contact, be gently reminded that our website is at greatmastersolar1.com. You can send an email to SBN, that's S as in Sam, B as in boy, N as in no, SBN at greatmastersolar1.com.
Okay, and they can request the information to get that. And you also, we do have a Mastery of Connections LinkedIn that if you share that on LinkedIn, I can go ahead and put that in the Mastery of Connections LinkedIn group so they can see that as well for that. And if it changes, does it change every week or is it the same link?
It changes every week.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll just have them contact you. All right.
Special
Well, thank you so much. Oh, yes, sir. All right. Special invitation as always. Well, thank you so much again for Art for being here. And thank you,
Thanks,
Emily, for Howard. No problem. And Jay Stoyan, the Disability Channel, and of course, Kurt Roskoff, and brother from another, Mr. EC Marketing for All, Christian Mendez. Love you, brother. Thank you all for being another episode of Massive Connection. Until next time, have an amazing week, an amazing day. God bless.
All right. Thank you.